last regularly operated overnight train in Japan. After seeing this train many times on YouTube, it still feels pretty unreal to finally see it in real life. It is one of the coolest looking trains I've ever seen. It actually looks way cooler in real life than it does on camera, which is the exact opposite of me. While I settle into my own little mobile hotel room for the night, the roof is a little bit short. I spent some time exploring the rest of the train and found out there is a dining area and a shower that I really wanted to try out, and overall the train is just really clean and cool. I've already spent the past 12 hours by myself and never did I once think I was lonely. I finally realized that there is a big difference between being alone and being lonely, and I was actually very, very happy. Alright, before I die guys, yes I sleep like this because I'm not bothered. Because of daddy long legs, my leg is actually touching the end of the bed. But before I die, I want to show you guys something. When you turn off the lights and then you look outside, the lights are so diffused, it feels like you're dreaming. It looks so nice outside. Yeah, it looks so cool. Oh my god. Alright, it's time to sleep guys. Unfortunately, the weather isn't really looking too nice. It's pretty cloudy, and yes, I sound like I'm dead. I wanted to see the sunrise, that's why I woke up that early. But other than that, I also want to take a shower. Yeah, that's another reason why I woke up early. Also, I want to eat my bento. Okay, that's a third reason why I want to wake up so early. But still, being up early to see the view, quite nice. Very nice. I can tell you're a dancer, throwing your hands in the air that you answer. When I ask you if you want your panther, I'm a little too for boy, you a transfer. I put on left, right, and you say it's cancer. I can go change if you want to. I mean no things that you don't do. I will put a foot on the floor unless I am sure. You just jump head first up for an encore. Alright, it is 7:27 on the dot and we arrived at Takamatsu. I don't think I've ever seen a train this likable. Everyone that gets off the train are taking pictures before they go. Obviously, I'm no exception. It's okay, I'll see this train again tonight because I'm taking it back from here to Tokyo. As much as I love to film, I decided to properly enjoy my time at Takamatsu, leaving my camera in the storage locker. Filming is fun, but sometimes I wanted to take the time off and genuinely enjoy being where I am. I took out my anti-social wireless earbuds and started going through my playlist. Alright, my train is leaving in about an hour. I had a great time at Takamatsu, so let's get back into the video. Without going on an adventure alone, I would have never realized how important spending some time alone is. As much as I love hanging out with my friends, I think having some me time is just as important. I got to think about my relationship with myself, make a lot of decisions by myself, and cleared up a lot of thoughts that had been running in my head. At the end of the day, I took the same train back to Tokyo, stayed at a pretty cool capsule hotel for the night, and the next day, slowly made my way back to school. This is my first ever solo adventure, and it's definitely a very, very memorable. There's always that one thing on my bucket list, which is I always wanted to travel alone. Now don't get me wrong, I had some of the best memories traveling with friends, but this time, I wanted to switch things up a bit. I always wonder what's it like to be lost, to plan everything and experience everything with just me, myself, and I. And after some in-depth YouTube watching, something definitely caught my attention. The overnight train in Japan. You know, my parents always told me to get lost anyways, so I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to do so. But I see two very big potential problems. One, I think I ran out of data, and two, I have to make my way down to Tokyo alone because my train is at 9 PM tonight, and if I miss it, then I'm fucked. And by the looks of things, this isn't the most crowded station there is because I am the only one in the train station right now. I don't know if I should be scared or excited. Now I'm just trying to get out of the middle of nowhere and find a faster means of transport down to Tokyo. And the view outside the train makes this the perfect beginning to my trip. For the first length of the journey, I'm taking the Akita Shinkansen from Akita all the way down to Tokyo. As you can see, the train is moving along at tremendous speed. I don't know if it's just me, but personally, I like to take the train more than taking an airplane, because at least you get to see where you're going and you get to have delicious bento. That bento was just gyudon, which is beef and rice, but fuck me, it's good. And according to schedule, we'll be arriving at around 7:06 p.m. because the Japanese are on time as fuck. Quick update, I'm now at Tokyo Station. It is 6:30. I thought I'm going to arrive at 7, but because I'm bad at maths, I got it wrong, so that's my bad. Now I have 3 empty hours before my second train leaves at 9:27. First things first, I have to go and grab my ticket. Then, I'm probably gonna get dinner. Solid. And then I'll probably buy another bento box because man is craving for some midnight snack on the train. Alright, time to go. Even though Tokyo Station was an absolute madness, with 28 fucking platforms, I finally made it to the right platform. And this is the Sunrise Express. And actually, it is the last regularly operated overnight train in Japan. After seeing this train many times on YouTube, it still feels pretty unreal to finally see it in real life. It is one of the coolest looking trains I've ever seen. It actually looks way cooler in real life than it does on camera, which is the exact opposite of me. While I settle into my own little mobile hotel room for the night, the roof is a little bit short. I spent some time exploring the rest of the train and found out there is a dining area and a shower that I really wanted to try out, and overall the train is just really clean and cool. I've already spent the past 12 hours by myself and never did I once think I was lonely. I finally realized that there is a big difference between being alone and being lonely, and I was actually very, very happy. Alright, before I die guys, yes I sleep like this because I'm not bothered. Because of daddy long legs, my leg is actually touching the end of the bed. But before I die, I want to show you guys something. When you turn off the lights, and then you look outside, the lights are so diffused, it feels like you're dreaming. It looks so nice outside. Yeah, it looks so cool. Oh my god. Alright, it's time to sleep guys. Unfortunately, the weather isn't really looking too nice. It's pretty cloudy, and yes, I sound like I'm dead. I wanted to see the sunrise, that's why I woke up that early. But other than that, I also want to take a shower. Yeah, that's another reason why I woke up early. Also, I want to eat my bento. Okay, that's a third reason why I want to wake up so early. But still, being up early to see the view, quite nice. Very nice. I can tell you're a dancer, throwing your hands in the air that you answer. When I ask you if you're under your panther, I'm a little too for boy, you a transfer. I put on that ride and you say it's cancer. I can go change if you want to. I mean no things that you don't do. I will put a foot on the floor unless I am sure. You just jump head first up for an encore. Alright, it is 7:27 on the dot, and we arrived at Takamatsu. I don't think I've ever seen a train this likable. Everyone that gets off the train are taking pictures before they go. And obviously, I'm no exception. It's okay, I'll see this train again tonight, because I'm taking it back from here to Tokyo. As much as I love to film, I decided to properly enjoy my time at Takamatsu, leaving my camera in the storage locker. Filming is fun, but sometimes I wanted to take the time off and genuinely enjoy being where I am. I took out my anti-social wireless earbuds and started going through my playlist. Alright, my train is leaving in about an hour. I had a great time at Takamatsu, so let's get back into the video. Without going on an adventure alone, I would have never realized how important spending some time alone is. As much as I love hanging out with my friends, I think having some me time is just as important. I got to think about my relationship with myself, make a lot of decisions by myself, and cleared up a lot of thoughts that had been running in my head. At the end of the day, I took the same train back to Tokyo, stayed at a pretty cool capsule hotel for the night, and the next day, slowly made my way back to school. This is my first ever solo adventure, and it's definitely a very, very memorable one. I hope this video serves as a reminder for me to love myself every once in a while, and hopefully it inspired you guys to do the same. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a beautiful day. Love you guys.
Gear 5, the latest form that has been hyped up to no end. Guys, lock your schedules, Gear 5 is coming. It was meant to encapsulate everything that One Piece is meant to be. Super Saiyan. It is the iconic, the untouched. And that's why I think there's nothing that's going to touch Super Saiyan or even Ultra Instinct. What we're going to be doing today is, I woke up today. and I chose violence. I thought to myself, I want to cause some controversy. So what we're going to be doing in just a bit is we are going to be ranking every shonen transformation power-up, basically, because Gear 5 has just recently released and kind of not exactly broken the internet, but it's got a lot of people talking. And I recently just watched the episode myself, so I have opinions. There is no way this stream can ever be taken in any sort of controversial way. There is no way there's going to be any hot takes in the stream whatsoever. Everyone's going to agree with all of my opinions, and that's going to be the end of that. First up, we have Mob Psycho reaching basically 100% or question mark percent. Oh, this is going to get very, very salty. Fucking incredible series. I think Mob Psycho is probably the best series of the last decade, in my opinion, just because it's complete. I've talked about that on another video. Fucking amazing series. S-tier show. In terms of just having a transformation and power-up, what I like about the Mob Psycho power-up transformation is that there's always the question of what really happens when he goes 100%. What happens when he breaks all limiters? Because throughout the entire series, you see that emotional level ramping up, and then it gets closer and closer to 100, and then Mob gets more and more powerful. And then eventually, small spoiler, but eventually he does reach 100%, and sometimes he might even go beyond 100%. I think it's cool that there's the anticipation there. In terms of how cool the power-up is, it is just a basic stat increase. There's not so much visual flair to it, aside from he gets the aura around him and his hair starts flying, but I think the reason this might have less impact than some other transformations on this series is just because Mob was fucking OP from the beginning. There was like no real surprise that, you know, someone was going to break him and he was going to go beast mode. So I think just in terms of transformation, it's like B tier. This is like the minimum I would expect from any shonen transformation. Him going 100% did everything that I thought it was going to do. It was hype. Do I think about Mob when I'm in a gym session and I want to like power up? I think about Mob not powering up. I think about his life lessons and his life attitude of trying to be the best person. Even if you are powerful in one aspect, you try to train other aspects that you might be weaker at. That's what I think is a more powerful message than him giving in to his 100% emotional powers and becoming the strongest psychic in the world. I'm glad he came first because I think he just kind of sets the baseline of what we should expect from a shonen power-up. All right, next we have Kuroko no Basket, The Zone. Now, conceptually, you have to think to yourself, Kuroko no Basket is a sports anime / manga. How do you bring shonen power-ups and forms into sports anime and manga? And conceptually, I like how they try to verbalize this concept of just the flow states. The entire point of The Zone is it's when an athlete hits that flow state and everything just hits. My problem with The Zone is that, yes, it was fucking hype the first time we saw it. I did not like that they treated this flow state it's kind of like a shonen power-up transformation. That was my least favorite part about it. By the end of the series, one thing I thought was fucking stupid was you have Zone, which is flow states, and they would basically put a time limit on how long you could be in Zone. It would get to a point where people could just switch it on, then switch it off, because they had like a certain time limit, and so you were like, okay, in the first inning, I'm gonna use Zone for like 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna switch it off, and then I'm gonna switch on Zone again in the last 10 minutes of the match. And I'm just like, it doesn't fucking work this way. Athletes, and pretty much everyone in flow state, it just happens naturally as you're doing an activity. Yeah, this is one of the worst ones, actually. I'll put it at D tier. I don't even think that this should be a transformation. I do not think that Zone should even be a power-up. Ooh, so Gon going absolute beast mode and destroying Pitto. This scene was so fucking intense that I felt bad for the bad guy. I felt bad for Pitto then, just because Gon went fucking hard. This scene was one of my favorite scenes from Hunter x Hunter. It is definitely one of the hardest hitting scenes. It's kind of like thematically similar to Mob, which is what happens when you just fucking break a character, when you just emotionally break a character and they just become a ball of pure anger and hate. And I love that fucking concept. I think that this is already going to rate high. Another thing I loved about this is that one thing I don't like in shonen power-ups, or one thing that might block a few points from me, is when there's no downside to a power-up, when you don't have to sacrifice anything. Because like, this is one of my favorite things about Hunter x Hunter in general, but like the Nen power system, it just like makes sense. It's kind of like Fullmetal Alchemist, where no one gets powerful quickly without some sacrifice. It feels like the law of equivalent exchange. Look at me, talking like someone who has watched Fullmetal Alchemist. Look at me, guys. Because Gon got so powerful so quickly, we had an entire arc where he was basically on death's bed. We had to introduce another character that was almost equally as broken in order to cure him. So all in all, this is a fucking great transformation sequence. It hits hard. The real question is it A tier or S tier? I am going to put it in A tier. The reason I'm going to put it in A tier is because, yes, that scene was impactful. Yes, it went fucking hard. It only happened once. Just because I feel Gon could only use it once. There are some other power-ups that become a staple of that series, that influence the direction the series is going. This felt more like just an outlier, more than something that should only happen once. That's why it should be an S tier. I disagree. Yes, people can like have a one-off power-up, but to me a power-up should be something that has like some kind of consistency to the series, right? Otherwise you are kind of just using a skill that's going to kill you, which this technically is. You get a cool way to send yourself off before you die, basically. And to me, that defeats the idea of a shonen power-up, at least to me. But to me, Gon, still A tier, still great, still a great power-up. All right, Asta's demon form. I would like to start this off by saying I really do like Black Clover. I am a Black Clover defender. You guys know where this is going. I think Black Clover is one of the most fun I've had just reading a shonen manga. I think that Black Clover's Asta's demon form is one of the least interesting parts of Black Clover. I think that Asta's power, which is just magic nullification, it's really cool. I mean, it's really fucking OP in the world of Black Clover. One thing I actually really like about Black Clover, though, is how wild the powers get. We have like someone who can make an entire mech out of houses that turns into like a raging bull. We have people that can control time magic. And then in like all of this, you have Asta, which is just anti-demon, which is just really convenient, and then his form just makes his anti-magic more anti-magic, and I'm like, it's fine. What can he do? He has more anti-magic and he can fly. That's basically it. You know, this to me was not as hype as some of the other forms. Like some of the other forms that happen in Black Clover are pretty fucking hype. And then you have like Asta demon form, which is he gets more black and he can fly and he gets more anti-magic, which to me is actually, out of everything in Black Clover, one of the lesser hype moments. Like more than Asta's power up itself, I like Asta as a character, but there's only so much you can do with anti-magic as your power up. And for that reason, Asta's demon form goes into C tier. I think there are a lot better power-ups. Speaking of which, Deku. Okay, I gotta think. I'm gonna think about this. All right, I made my decision. It's also C tier. Do I get hype when I see Deku go full cowling? Not really. Not really. Like this is the most bare bones, basic kind of like stat boost power-up you can have. When I see Deku going full cowling, I'm like, all right. But what else can you do? Wake me up when the real hype comes. Wake me up when you actually discover something new. It's just the most basic bitch. And it's fine. Like I said, it's fine to have like just a basic stat boost, but there needs to be some kind of hype and anticipation when full cowling happens. And here's the thing. Here's why I'm putting it in C tier. I can't even remember the first scene where he goes full cowling. And the fact that I can't remember the first scene where he goes full cowling just shows how much of an impact that he had on me. Was it against Stain? Overhaul? See, like his teacher's house. See, we chat can't even remember, man. The fact that we can't even remember shows how much of an impact they had on us. All right, moving on to Gold Experience Requiem. Possibly the most broken and overpowered power-up that there is and has been on this list. I'm gonna put this at B tier. I think this is a hot take. Like I said, it does everything that a power-up should do. It's the final power-up that defeats the villain. My problem with Gold Experience Requiem is that, number one, it kind of felt, I'm not sure if like Deus Machina is the right word, but it's just a little too broken. It was so broken that I'm not even like 100% sure what it does. Like, I know it's kind of like, I don't fully understand Gold Experience Requiem. I just know that it's really fucking powerful and you needed something really powerful to defeat Diavolo. And it was cool. It was a nice scene. Did I know something like that? I was like, what reversing or nullifying causality? It got into some real conceptual stuff that I'm not sure I really fucking understand. And another point against it is that it was so overpowered that like Araki wrote himself into a corner. He was like, this is so powerful. I don't know how I can make a stand that's like more broken than this in part 6. It was like a little too broken even for JoJo, and that's saying something. All right. Moving on, Guts' Berserker armor. Berserk is not a shonen. It's a seinen. You don't really expect there to be a kind of like a power-up scene in a seinen like Berserk. That's not what we really think about when we think about transformation tropes in seinen. But he did kind of have that. I've seen the scene in the anime. We don't talk about that. I am going purely on just the manga. In terms of the scene itself, it's fucking hype. It, to me, goes A tier. There are two reasons for that.